स्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। गुकारो अन्धकारो वै ऋकारस्तन्निवर्तकः अंधकार निरोधित्वात् गुरुरित्यभिधीयते। ओम सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ओम शांति शांति शांतिः। ओम नमो भगवते वैवस्वताय मृत्यवे ब्रह्म विद्या आचार्याय नचिकेतसे नमः। We are seeing Krishna Yajurvediya Kaṭha Upaniṣad. We already completed the first chapter having 3 sections. Now we are in the second chapter in the first section, and it will continue more 2 sections. It's a dialogue between a young boy and Lord Death. A boon asked by the young boy, Nachiketas, made Lord Death to reveal the secrets behind the death and birth of a living being in the world. And also, what is called suffering, how can one can work on to overcome the suffering, how a person will get rid of from this samsara, that means death and birth cycle. All these questions are being answered through this dialogue between Nachiketas and Lord Death. All these verses right now, what we are mentioning and what we are seeing the meaning, just it's an instruction or an advice or an answer what Nachiketas asked to Lord Death. We are in the 11th verse of the first section, second chapter. Last class we saw the 10th verse, and we saw elaborately what is the meaning of the 10th verse. Now we will see once more in a gist form, and we will go to the 11th verse. I will read the 10th verse, which we saw in the last class. Yadevaiha tadamutra yadamutra tadanviha mrityuho saha mrityumapnoti yaiha nana eva pashyati. The literal meaning of this verse is this. What is there outside of the body in this universe? The same thing is existing inside the body. When an entity is omniscient, it pervades everywhere. The word everywhere includes one's own body also. So something which is a sarvagatam, omniscient, it's already an accomplished fact for a person who wants to realize what is that entity. Because omniscient includes the person who is inquiring this entity. So there is no action involved in order to find that, in order to understand that entity which is my object of realization. That blessed thing happened to be me. That is what the implied meaning of this first sentence. What is there outside? The same thing is there in the body who is the inquirer. So Lord Death says to Nachiketas, the very entity which is eternal, which is the origination of all happiness, which is in the form of consciousness, that entity which is the substratum of this universe, that entity is you, O Nachiketas. Because a formless thing cannot be identified by the senses. So there should be a guidance of a proper teacher. Something which is beyond our perception. We cannot access with our senses. So from the different standpoints, Lord Death points out how one can realize this entity. There is no need of searching. It's already you. This is the implied meaning of this first sentence. What is there outside everywhere? That entity is you. It's here. But for an ordinary person who don't know anything about the valid information which is the content of the Vedas, scriptures, which is a means of knowledge. An ordinary person is not interested to study Vedas or not known about one's own goal, or he's not informed about the goal. So most of the people will be centered on food, shelter, clothes, comforts, and sex. These 5 elements will be their goal in their normal life if they are not informed. For them, the result will be worst. That is been told in the second sentence. One who see this world as true, real, all the things outside are real, which is a notion by birth. One who realize the entity which is eternal will get liberated. He will or she will not come again to this world of suffering, samsara. But a person who is not informed by the traditional teachers or the scriptures, that person who believes this duality is true, this world is true. I have senses and they are extroverted, and I have things outside which are the source of happiness. Just I have to accomplish those things in my life, and I have to enjoy with my senses. All these notions we can reduce into one single word: dualistic world, Dvaita Prapancham. For those who consider this world, these experiences, these people, these things are true, when they are not informed in their life, they are called samsari, an ordinary person. He may be having a good academical qualification. He is living inside a comfort zone because you have a good sound in money. A person who has a lot of power, a person who has a lot of people around, that doesn't mean that the person is informed by the truth. All the qualifications what you have achieved in this material life with this body will not confirm that you have realized the truth. So the last sentence what we have studied in the last class, last Sunday, that mrityoho saha mrityum apnodi, after getting the luckiest birth in this world as a human being, and this person is not clear about the goal, what a human being should do in one's life. The goal is not clear. As a human being, we have a clean goal. One should get rid of from this death and birth cycle. This is our goal. All other goals are secondary: to become a scientist, to become a doctor, to become a journalist, to become a teacher, to get identified among the people, to be popular in this world. All these aim and goals are secondary. The first goal of a human being should be, I should get rid of from this death and birth cycle, what we call in Sanskrit, samsara nivritti. If this goal is not clear, because they are not informed right from the birth, their parents being not informed, and they are not connected with a qualified traditional teacher, they are not informed. They will have a good IQ. They will be an expert in different things. They are very much capable of doing different actions which are attracting people around them. Those factors will not confirm that the person has the qualification or person has realized the truth in this world. So they think that when the person is not connected with a traditional teacher or the teachings of scriptures, they will be always going behind these 5 factors, as I mentioned. Good food in their life, good shelter in their life, good clothes in their life, having good comforts which can make them happy in their life. They will be behind all these things, and the sex also. These 5 factors will put them in this world again and again, getting the birth and go through different types of experiences. Mostly they are sufferings. Very few are giving them some material happiness. And at last they go to the death. Again, they will take a birth. And there is no guarantee that we will take again a human birth. Among the 84 lakhs, we can take any birth. It can be a buffalo. It can be a small plant. It can be a dragonfly. It can be a butterfly. Anything. There is no guarantee according to scriptures that if a person didn't work in this birth, Mahati Vinashtihi, another Upanishad says, it's a great loss, immense loss. After getting the human birth, and we are behind certain things which are material pleasures. Yaha Nana Iva Pashyati Iha. One who sees here the duality is true, and they go behind the duality in search of pleasures. This world is true for them because they are not clear about their goal. They didn't listen the traditional teachings, so that they go according to their instincts. Their instinct will trigger them to go behind sex, to go behind good food, to go behind shelter, to go behind one experience after one experience. That's enough to take different births in the life. After getting this information, should I stop all these material pleasures? No. According to the prarabdha, what comes to you, you enjoy. But there is no sticking on that. That's not my goal. We are already confirmed. Like a bird sitting on a branch, and the bird knows that this branch is going to break. Still the bird sits on that branch. Similarly, after knowing that I am an entity which doesn't have birth and death, I am free from all limitations of the body. I am the entity which is all pervading in this universe. That same entity I am, which is mentioned in the first line. After knowing that, you can go through some material comforts, what comes towards you. Nothing wrong on that. Very few people stick with this teaching. All others can go some boga, some material pleasures. Sometimes they give some lessons and come back, and again stick with the lessons. After a period of time, we know that there is nothing to do in this material world, because these are all inert things. An inert thing cannot guarantee you the eternal peace or eternal happiness. Anything which you see in this world is jadam, inert, insentient. Whether it is our kid, whether it is our boyfriend, whether it is our girlfriend, whether it is anything which gives you certain comforts, they are inert. An inert thing cannot promise you a permanent happiness in this life, a permanent resort for you. It can go, it can break, it can depart from the body, it can depart from this world. Anytime these things can be against us. So after knowing this, a person will go to realize what is the goal. But most of them will stick with this dualistic world. For them, Lord says that Mrityoho saha mrityumapnodi. They go around from death to death. One who confirms that this world is true. This dualistic world is true. My body is true. Other people's bodies, other people also having body, they are also true. And all these things are meant for my enjoyment. In the Mandukya Upanishad, Gaudapada says in one Karika, Bhogartam Srishtiristhyanye Kridartam Chaiva Chapare. Devasya Yesha Maya Atma Kamasya Kaspraha. Most of the people think that this world is meant for pleasure. And some religions promote that. Bhogartam, for reveling, all these things are meant by Lord. For having some material pleasures. But few people turn back. Knowing the biggest thing in the world, they lose the attraction on the smallest things. These material pleasures are very small things. By getting the biggest thing in the world, that is being told by the scriptures and it is being revealed by the traditional teachers. One who don't know that, they will go from one death to another death. This was the meaning which we saw elaborately in the last class. Now we are going to the new verse, what Yama conveys to Nachiketas in a different direction. The truth is being revealed from a different direction. We will see. Shloka, the verse number 11 in the second chapter, first section. I will read the verse and after that I will give you the meaning. Manasa eva itam aptavyam neha nanasti kinchana mrityoho saha mrityum gacchati yayiha nana iva pashyati. Few people know Sanskrit. Few people don't have any idea about Sanskrit. Nothing wrong. We are going to see the English meaning. It will be nice to have some understanding in Sanskrit in the coming days, which we will see if we can have a good class of Sanskrit or we will arrange for that. Anyway, just enjoy the verses of Sanskrit first and I will give you the meaning. Manasa eva itam aptavyam neha nanasti kinchana mrityoho saha mrityum gacchati yayiha nana iva pashyati. Need some elaborate discussion or explanation. First, I give you the literal meaning. Manasa eva idam aptavyam. What is the meaning? Manasa, through the mind, it has to be attained or accomplished or to be understood. Eva, alone. Through the mind alone, this knowledge or this entity which is under discussion to be understood. Most of the people think that What a silly sentence. Every knowledge is a subject for a mind, for the mind. No other organ cannot understand the knowledge. An ear cannot understand the knowledge. Any knowledge is the topic of the mind. Mind can only understand anything. Then what is the point of stating this sentence? Manasa eva idam aptavyam. After knowing this sentence, we'll go to that sentence. It's a very big explanation, actually. See, the scriptures mentions our intrinsic nature, which is not subject to death and birth. I just listen from the scriptures through traditional teacher. I didn't get any idea. It says, so I listen. That's all we do. We are not subject to death and birth. This Kaṭha Upaniṣad itself says that. Because I have a certain Shraddha, I believe what this scripture says will be benefited in my life. So that I give certain attention with a lot of respect. I listen to that, but I didn't understand clearly. Most of the people are like that. In the beginning and on the half of the way also, if you ask, yes, Swamiji says this is told in the scriptures, and I believe. I didn't get the complete meaning, but it will be okay. I will get in the way. Most of the people and most of the words we will decide in this manner only in our life. See, the very sentence shows that Manasa eva idam aptavyam. The bondage is in our mind. The limitation is in our mind. The suffering is in our mental plane. I am disturbed is in our mental plane. How I think about somebody who have cheated me. The thinking is always inside the mind, not in the physical body, correct? Now, where is the disturbance? Inside the mind. Sufferings, disturbances, limitations, inadequacy, illegitimacy, all these things are just inside the mind or in the mental plane. It's in the form of experiences. Again, I will repeat. If I say I am disturbed now due to somebody, I saw somebody who has cheated me before 15 years, now the mind is disturbed. When I say this experience, every disturbances will be inside the mind. The physical body doesn't have any problem to see the person. But the mind has some disturbances. So any experience is connected with the mental plane in the form of experiences. So the peace also in the form of experience. Shanti, calmness is in the form of experience. No other way. So mind has limitations. Mind has sufferings. Mind has all kinds of inadequacies. Being samsara, this world in the form of sufferings, I need to inform the mind that in the form of experience itself. When the suffering is in the form of an experience, the remedy should also in the form of experience or anubhava. If the mind can understand properly what is told in the scriptures, then only we are going to get the relief. Just attending the classes on Sunday and without knowing anything, because you have certain respect or gratitude towards the scriptures or my words, you may attend. Lord Death says, Manasa eva idam aptavyam. You should understand with your mind what is told in this Shruti, in the scriptures. If not, the mental anubhava, the mental experiences will continue even after listening. That is why reasoning, logically making understand the mind is important in our tradition. Shruti anubhata tarka, logic which are supporting the sentences of the scriptures are being allowed so that a normal person's mind can easily grasp the idea of the sentence which are told in the scriptures. Again, I will repeat. Shruti matas tarka. Being the samsara, being the sufferings are in the mental plane, I need to give the remedy to the mental plane, or I should give the idea to the mind what is told in the scriptures. Mere understanding may not give some relief. Logically, I should know what is told in this. Reasoning. I will give the example, then only you understand what is called reasoning. Just you understand right now in an outside manner. So, if I am disturbed, it is inside the mind, not outside. I should give the remedy to the mind. Suffering is in the form of experience. I should give the remedy in the form of experience itself. Like, we sometimes we lose our dog because it got some sick and it died. It's a heartbreaking thing to accept that my dog has lost for me. Anything you can replace in the form of the dog, a good food, a good movie, a good book, even Sunday classes, nothing will work, because that grief towards your beloved dog continue for a length of time. Nothing can be replaced in that place. This anubhava, this experience of the separation from your dog cannot replaced by any other things except by another dog. You see again a puppy and keep in your house in the place of that dog, and you give more care and love. Slowly the wound in the heart or in the mind gets slowly healed. No other replacement, correct? The same way, an anubhava, an experience which is in the form of a suffering, can only healed or remedied by another type of experience. No other way. People can't tolerate the daily experiences of suffering. That's why they become drunk, alcoholic, so that a length of time they can at least forget all the things. A weak-minded personality will get addicted with all these things. So, because why? Sufferings which they are getting in their day-to-day life, and they cannot come out of that, so that they want to get rid of for a length of time, temporarily, not permanently. Because they didn't see any way to come out of that. They just see some alcohol, taking some alcohol. I can be free with these thoughts. That's all. The same person again emerges after a period of time with a lot of sufferings and grief again and again. What I want to say, mentally we are suffering. So mentally we need to give the remedy. That is what here it is pointed out. Even though the ideas which are presented by the Lord Death in Kaṭha Upaniṣad are in the form of different words, which is not a daily experience in my life, I should understand the meaning, what I am experiencing right now in the same manner. I will give you an example. Then you will understand. In this Kaṭha Upaniṣad itself, there is a verse in the first chapter, second section, 18th shloka. Na jayate mriyate va vipaschit, nayam kutaschit na babuva kaschit, ajo nitya shashvatoyam puranaha, na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Much less similar, there is another verse in Gita, the same thing. I want to explain you what is being revealed by the scriptures are very different from my daily experiences. My daily experiences are very much contradicting what I am studying through the scriptures. I should tally them. I should understand properly. That is why Yama told Manasa eva idam aptavyam. All these sentences should be understood with your mind in a practical manner by reasoning. So I am going to take a word from this verse, and I will give you how to understand according to your mental plane. Here, the meaning is like this. This entity is not born, neither born or not does it die. It did not originate from anything, nor did anything originate from it. Ajaha, it is birthless, it is eternal, nityaha, shashvadaha, undecaying, never get distracted, and puranaha, it's very ancient. All these words will not fit for my daily experiences, because what I know about me, I am subject to death and birth, because my body is not shashvata, it's daily getting deteriorated. My body is getting decayed daily. I am not an eternal thing. Right from the childhood, I am slowly growing. Growth means giving up of one state and coming into a new state. It's called growing. Giving up the seed state and coming to the state of a plant. It's called growth. Giving up means dead. So the words which are told in the Upanishad, in this Kaṭha Upaniṣad, are not fit in my daily experiences. Now, I want to put some reasonings in order to understand this meaning. We all know that my body is growing per second daily, but I can coordinate each and every experiences happened right from the childhood up to this moment. Each and every experiences happened when I am a boy, when I am a teenager, when I am before getting married, after marriage. All these experiences I can coordinate. A constant entity can only mark the events occurring. This is the reasoning. Again, I will repeat. A constant entity can only coordinate all the events happened in my life. It proves that even though my body is changing every second, there is a constant entity to mark all my changes, which is mine, which happened to be me. I am eternal. I am not changing. Even my body is changing per second. This is an experience because I remember what happened 10 years before for me. My body before 10 years was more young. Right now, I am more old. Still, I remember means the same person continues in the changing bodies. Even though my body is changing every second, the entity which is residing inside the body is not changing at all. Now, what Lord Yama says, Manasa eva itam aptavyam. We got a logic now. I have some practical ideas. Even though my daily experiences prove that I am subject to death and birth, but the scriptures, the Vedic text, this Kaṭha Upaniṣad says that I am Ajaha, I am Nityaha. Nityaha means eternal. When that Vedic text scriptures say I am Nityaha, permanent, eternal in this world, and my experiences are completely contradicting to this word, completely opposite to this word, that I am daily changing second by second. My hair is changing. My face is having wrinkles. My body is getting deteriorated. Lot of changes are happening in my daily life. But the scripture says that you are an eternal entity. How can I coordinate? How can I understand both these? There, this reasoning will help the person. Even though I am changing, I can remember what happens before 10 years, I can fetch all the things happened before 10 years. It means that I am not changing, my body is changing. So, Nityaha, if the Kaṭha Upaniṣad says this word, scripture says that I am Nityaha, I am eternal. My daily experiences shows that I am Anityaha. Daily I am changing. I am having a nature of modification. And the scripture says that I am eternal, Nitya. And my experiences are completely opposite. What I should know that I stick with this word Nityam, and I conclude that the experiences in this world are just an error. I stick with the word Nityam, I am permanent, by some reasoning that, by some understanding, like I am not changing because in the small young body, when I am a boy or a girl, something happened. Even now, I can remember that. It means that the same person which were in that young body is continuing even now in this old body. That reasoning made me to understand what Shruti says is true. My daily experiences are an error. Like this, understanding each and every word in the manner of grasping for the mind. I understand each and every word in the Shruti in the form of experiences, so that the mind can easily grasp the meaning of the words of scriptures. So reasoning is important. In Sanskrit, reasoning is called tarka. Shruti matas tarka. A reasoning based on the words or sentences of Shrutis. It can be inference, it can be presumption, it can be an analogy, in order to understand for the mind. Even in this Kaṭha Upaniṣad itself, all the way we have put a lot of reasoning for the sake of the mind. Atmanam Rithinam Vitti. May you understand as the owner of the chariot who is residing inside the body. May you understand this body as a chariot. Like this analogy is also presented by the Upanishad for the sake of understanding for this ordinary mind. Because words which are presented by the Upanishad is not easily understood by the mind, because mind is always inside this empirical world and interactions are going on. In order to fit, in order to understand inside our mind, we use a certain logics and reasonings to make the words clear so that the mind can understand properly. This is what is told by Lord Yama. May you understand each and every word in the form of reasoning, using some logic. When the Shruti, the scripture says that I am not subject to death, I am not subject to birth. But in my daily experience, it is not like that, because people are dying and new people are getting birth, babies are getting birth in this world. Once the person is departed, no more, we cannot see them. So my daily experiences are contradicting to the words which I find in the Shruti. In order to understand the meaning of the Shruti, I use reasoning. By reasoning, I understand the meaning of the word, the implied sense of the word. We need certain reasoning like this. Then we make a statement that if the Shruti, if the scriptures says this about me, the experiences are error. I will confirm like this. This is called understanding. In this manner, by using different logics, by using the reasoning, I make the things which can fit inside the mind. If you say to somebody, you are Nityaha, he will laugh at us. Why? He has an experience in the world that people are departing daily by accidents, by heart attack, by some other issues. We are seeing different deaths around us. And we are just saying to a person, we are eternal. How can a person assimilate this word? That is why Vedanta is not a topic to discuss with ordinary people. They will laugh at you. They will make you shame. You know why? They can't understand properly. It's a process of understanding. We need a lot of time. A big topic it is. It's not a pet talk. It's not something, a lecture given by the politician. It's something related to me. All words seems to be contradicting from my daily experiences. In order to understand, we need a lot of logic. We need a lot of reasoning. What Shruti says seems to be contradicting with my daily experiences. So I need some reasoning. A teacher who is capable gives the way how to understand these words. Being this samsara, being this world in the form of suffering, I need the remedy in the form of calm experience. Sufferings are in the form of experiences. So I need the peace in the form of experience. That is why manasa eva idam aptavyam. The bondage is not for the physical body, even though we are not locked in a chain, we are not tied in our rib to a pillar. We are free. Still, our limitations makes me, I am not free. I cannot fly. I am not subject to having certain things to do in my life because my body don't allow. I am limited. So daily I am thinking I am a limited personality. I am subject to death and birth. I am having certain sufferings. All these things will be a block in the mind while the teaching is going on. So reasoning will take away all the obstacles in the mind. Very important that reasoning, the logical fit. Anything what is told in the Shruti will be a word which will not enter inside the mind because my daily experiences are the obstacles for this word. So reasoning will dilute all these things. Like when the Shruti, when the scripture says that I am eternal, from my daily experiences, I know that I am not eternal. But through the logic, I understand that even though my body is subject to death and birth, and there are changes going on daily, I have changed a lot from the boy to teenager, from the teenager to a young woman, from the young woman to a woman who is more old. Still, I am having all the thoughts, all the things happened from my childhood onwards. It means that there is an unchanging entity continuing inside the body. A constant entity can only mark all the events occurring around me. I am a constant entity. Without my eternal personality, I cannot mark the events. If I am changing according to the changing of my body, how can I remember what happened in the younger age? It shows that I am not changing at all at any point of time, even my body getting changed every time. I am eternal. Thus, reasoning helps me to understand each and every word in a proper way so that I can grasp in my mental plane. That is why Lord Yama told, Manasa eva idam aptavyam. Through the mind itself, one should understand each and every word told by the scriptures. If not, each and every word will be contradictory when I look from my daily experiences. More we will talk about this beautiful verse in the coming Sunday, in the coming class. We will conclude now. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahishaha Obhyamanibhya Shupamastu Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu Kali Varshadu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Sharini Desho Yantroparahitaha Brahmana Santu Narbhayaha Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Makaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamataya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om